Hey, this is Lincoln Murphy with 16 Ventures. I help SaaS and web app companies acquire and retain more customers. And one of the ways that we do that is with email. Email plays a very large role in both aspects of the customer lifecycle, the getting them and the keeping them. And a lot of people think of email as sort of just spam or just marketing content. But the reality is, we're using email for what we call transactional messages. So, we're sending status updates, we're sending weekly reports. We're using that for, resetting credentials. We're using that for some of the orchestrated virality, right? So it's very, very important. Email is still a very important channel. Well, the great thing is Gmail has given everybody the ability to have ready access to a fantastic email service. On the flip side, email starts becoming harder to use as a channel when a company like Google and their Gmail product starts messing with things. And lately, they've added a couple of things that have caused a lot of people that rely on email marketing a lot of, if not headaches and grief, a lot of anxiety. Because I think it doesn't bode well for what's going to happen. But it's certainly something we need to keep an eye on right now. It's something we need to react to, but it is certainly something that it could become an even bigger problem down the road if Gmail keeps doing what they're doing. Anyway, what these things that I'm going to talk to you about are the Gmail categories and also the tabbed inbox. And you need to be aware of these because they could really affect your business. They could affect your customers. They could affect you and the businesses that you do business with, the businesses that you want to hear from in your email. A lot of this stuff has probably happened to you if you use Gmail and you didn't even know it. So let's take a quick look here. This is the Gmail tabbed inbox, and across the top I've highlighted those in red. You'll see primary, social, promotions, updates, and forums. These are basically little categories that the folks at Gmail, the folks behind Gmail, at Google have said, this is what we think the emails that come into your inbox should be categorized as. These are the main categories, and they've taken it upon themselves to put Twitter notifications in social, to put Facebook notifications in social, to put anything that they would consider to be email marketing under promotions. Things that come from some of the forums that you're a part of, maybe LinkedIn groups, those go under the forums tab. This, by the way, has apparently been rolling out readily, pretty steadily to folks using like the free version of Gmail. The folks that are using maybe the paid Google apps, this is not apparently on by default. I had to go turn it on so that I could take this screenshot. But what is on by default is over in the left-hand menu. You'll see something called categories, and you'll see social, promotions, and updates and forums there. And by the way, it's categories is generally, in my 3 different inboxes that I was looking at, it's collapsed, and it's even below, you have to scroll down to get to it. I didn't even know it was there when it first happened. And you can see, there's 22 things in there from social. There's promotions has some stuff in there that's unread. Updates has 375 things, and this is all stuff that is probably happening in your inbox right now and you don't even know about it. Even worse, it's what's happening in your customer's inbox, and they might not even know about it, right? So, they can go over, you can go over to the little gear thing in your inbox, and you can do configure inbox, and you can see now if you select primary, social, promotions, updates, and forums, or any of those, then they will appear in your tabbed as tabs. Like you would see here. But if you use Google for Business, categories are there. Emails are already not showing up in your inbox. They're already going to the categories section. Some are, some aren't. This is all based on their algorithms, and we don't know what those are. So you probably are missing emails right now that you didn't even know about, and so are your customers, okay? So, you can go and you can turn on your tabs, whatever, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is this has already started taking place. So whether you get the tabbed experience by default or you have to go turn it on or you don't turn it on, the categories are still there. So they seem to be intermingled, and even if you don't have the tabs, you still get the categories. So that's the problem, right? Right now, emails that you are sending are not going to where you thought they should go. And that's one thing as the vendor, right? We think our emails should be at the very top of the priority inbox all the time, no matter what. That's probably not how your customers think about it. But if you've done your job right, your customers actually do want your emails, whether that's your marketing emails, whether that's your transactional emails. They want those from you, and you want them to get them. And if they don't understand how this is all working, they could be missing out on things. So we need to be aware of this. So why should you care? Like I said, your customers won't see your transactional messages. They won't get other important messages from you. Your free trial users won't get the follow-up messages. So your conversions could go down. Your potential customers won't see your marketing messages. And remember, we're talking about, when we say transactional messages, like I said, it's credentials. It's resetting your password. It's getting those updates. It's critical security changes. It's billing information. It's all this stuff that we rely on email for that may not show up where they think it's going to show up. So we need to be able to educate them, and we need to know these things for ourselves. Remember, email is still a very relevant, and it's a fantastic channel for communication, and it's not just marketing. And the thing is, and that last point on here, this is occurring without their explicit permission, or at least their action. Now, of course, we've given explicit permission by using Gmail and probably, agreeing to their terms of service and all that. So we can't say that this is happening without explicit permission, but we can say it's happening without explicit action. In other words, our customers that are using Gmail have not gone in and taken a specific action to turn these things on. They're just happening by default. And that can be problematic. So what should you do? Well, if there's a link here that goes to 16ventures.com that talks about all the things that you can do to ensure email delivery. I mean, these are the things, or at least help your email delivery. And these are all things that are still relevant. So you should still be doing these things. You should make sure that you have these things in mind. Some tricks that I recommend are starting a conversation with people, having what is or what looks to be a private conversation, a private message that goes out, and it starts a conversation, and that gets at least Gmail and some of the other systems out there to start thinking that you're actually your friends or your colleagues, rather than you're just a vendor that's blasting emails to them. So start conversations, and whatever you do, just don't blast unwanted egocentric garbage that no one wants. Don't just talk about your product, talk about them. Make sure it's something that they want to put in their primary or priority inbox, or whatever they're going to call it next week. Always add value. And then after every action where you've collected their email address, we need to provide very specific instructions for them. Now, maybe they want to see something like this, and they want to have the promotions tab, and that they want our emails, our marketing emails, to go to promotions. That's fine, but they need to know about the promotions tab in the first place, or they need to know that it's going to the promotions category. So we're not saying change your behavior, put our stuff at the very beginning, although obviously I would prefer that. We're just saying, hey, instead of just, hey, go check your spam folder, now we have to say, go check all these other places where our messages could be. So, the other thing is, as SaaS providers, we have a little bit of a leg up on other companies that maybe don't have the technical resources. We have the ability to get data driven. So here's a little flow chart of what I would do. And in fact, what I did is I took that flow chart and I wrote a Node.js little script in JavaScript that's available. You can click this screenshot down here from GitHub. Gist is clickable, and you can go grab this script. It's not great. I'm not that great of a programmer. This is a hack, but basically it takes your email addresses and goes out. And obviously anybody who has a @gmail.com address, we know they're on Gmail. But if it's a business user that has a custom domain, right away we don't know if they're on Gmail. But we can go out and look at MX records, which are the mail records on DNS, and say, oh, okay, you're pointing to the Google server, so we know right away that you are, in fact, even though you have a custom domain, that you're on Gmail. So we can run some reports, grab the data and run it through some scripts and come up with some information. Now, what do we do with that information? Well, it depends. You could actually, if you have a list of everybody who's on Gmail, just send them a personal message, and say, hey, by the way, so it's a personal message. It's going to come across to Gmail as if it's a personal message. and you could, send them a link to a blog post where you talk about what to do. Or you could, the next time they log in, if they're a Gmail user, and we know that, we could display a message that says, hey, Gmail user, you're going to need to do these things to ensure that our messages keep getting to you. Or if you don't want to be creepy like that and, creep them out, or if you don't want to sort of, if you don't want to limit the amount of people that see this, and you might miss a few, just go ahead and pop up a message to everybody on the next login that says, hey, Gmail has made some changes. We want to make sure that you get our messages. So you could do that. And then, for the people that we know are on Gmail, we could pop up a message to everybody, but we could also be a little bit more aggressive on the back end, trying to get them to take the appropriate action. So use your imagination. You have the data, it's there. Go grab my script or do whatever you can do. Just follow this flow chart, and it'll help you figure out how we can grab the information that's out there and use our programming for good in this case, so we can actually grab, know what people are trying to do. They're just trying to read the emails from you. And we got to think, the information that we send to them, maybe, it's not the marketing stuff. It's their account balance. It's the dunning that says your account is about to expire because your credit card failed. Or it's all these other things that people want to get from us. They want to know, they signed up for information from us. They actually want to get that. And Gmail is making it a little bit more difficult. So we need to sort of step up and take action. And what can the customers do? Well, if they have the categories only and they don't have the tab browser, the tabbed inbox experience, there's a couple of things that we could tell them to do. They could click on the little tag that says this is an important message. Then they could go and move it to the inbox, and then they could click on not promotions. Now, from that email, one thing to not do, don't just click on not promotions, because then it sort of ends up in this purgatory. It's not in the inbox. It's not tagged as an inbox message. It's just out there. So, these are the steps that I found that work. And then, of course, if you have the tabbed inbox experience, then you will just grab the message and drag it over to the primary tab if that's what they want. And then the important step there is step 3, to then say, do this for future messages from, in this case, catchall@16ventures.com. Say yes, and then it will end up in your primary inbox tab, not just now, but going forward. So these are a couple of things that you could have your customers do, but we need to make sure that you are putting this message in front of them at appropriate times. And of course, one of the best ways to do that is when they, the next time they log in to the app, go ahead and pop up this message. So that's it. Hopefully this helps you both as a user of Gmail, but also as a vendor who more than likely has a significant number of a significant portion of your customers and or prospects or users that are actually using Gmail. I know when I ran this just right before I recorded this, the list I ran it on had 50% of custom domains were using Gmail. So that's pretty significant. You may or may not find the same type of results, but I think it's worth at least looking into. Thanks and good luck.